Good evening and welcome to Falcon Update, live on Yellow Breeches Television. I'm Reed Milliken.
And I'm Chris Blakeman. Let's see what's happening here at Messiah.
Taking a look at the COVID numbers this week, the cumulative confirmed cases among residents, commuters, and employees has risen to 253 for the spring semester. If you haven't been a close contact or been quarantined, consider yourself lucky. But with the rising cases on campus, it's important to know what will happen if you come into this situation. Here's a closer look. Welcome back, Messiah. Tonight we're going to be talking about a little something called quarantine. Messiah has made a couple of changes to their quarantine policy come the spring semester, so let's get right into it.
For starters, Messiah will no longer be requiring asymptomatic close contact students, regardless of vaccination status, to quarantine. Instead, these students will be required to wear a KN95 mask for 10 days when around others on campus after their initial exposure. If symptoms do happen to develop, students are required to report this on the Falcon Health check-in and will receive personalized instructions from the Angle Center regarding testing and enhanced health and safety protocols. If you do end up testing positive, regardless of vaccination status, you will continue to be required to isolate at home. However, the CDC has shortened the recommended time for isolation.
I'm not really sure if switching it from 10 days to 5 days is the best idea. If I were to do 5 days, then I would recommend like a final COVID test to see if you still have the virus.
If students and employees are asymptomatic after 5 days, or they've been free of symptoms and fever for at least 24 hours, they may return to campus, followed by 5 days of wearing a KN95 mask when around others to further minimize any risk of infection.
Whether positive or negative, Messiah constantly encourages students to socially distance and wear a KN95 mask when indoors. Doing so can keep you from being labeled as a close contact and keep you out of those pesky quarantines. I'm Reed Milliken for YBTV.
Thanks for that, Reed. If you happen to walk by Hofstetter Chapel tonight after the sun went down, you might have noticed something a little different. The steeple lights are back on at Hofstetter Chapel. Paul Callender is live outside of Hofstetter with more information. Paul?
Thanks, guys. I'm staying outside of here at Hofstetter Chapel, which is a very iconic building here, to say the least, here on campus. But believe it or not, the lights here at Hofstetter have been out since probably about May of 2021. So until recently, this past week, when Messiah's very own Brian Miller was able to go up there and turn on the lights and make sure everything was working. So as of this Thursday, the lights on Hofstetter are back up. This is important not just because a lot of freshmen probably haven't even seen the building lit up before like this, but it's also important because it's a very iconic building here on campus. And if you want to hear more about the building, make sure to tune into our package coming up here, where it's going to be all about the history of Hofstetter Chapel coming up right after the next commercial break. Thanks for watching. My name is Paul Callender, sending it back to the desk.
Thanks for that, Paul. Angelic voices and energetic dance moves had Messiah students applauding with excitement at this month's coffee house. The performances started. Lining up to grab free donuts and coffee provided by the Student Activities Board. An array of vocal and creative talent was displayed throughout the night. Connor Daudt performed an original song, Meant to Be, written from the perspective of his faith. Later, Becca Ziegler hit the stage with a tap dance performance. She danced to the song What If, with a talent you don't often see at Coffee House. The event ended with spirits high as Ella Talbot, Jennifer Choi, and Chang Yu rocked the stage with an energetic dance performance. Chang Yu tells us why he decided to perform for Coffee House.
I perform at Coffee House because I've seen many other fantastic performers who have performed at Coffee House, and that made me want to share the stage with these amazing performers who have amazing gifts as well. Thank you very much.
Last week, the rail line that runs through campus was home to two very special engines. As part of the Norfolk Southern's 30th anniversary celebration, 20 new locomotives were painted in the color schemes of predecessor railroads, known as heritage units. Two of these units paid campus a visit last week. Engine 8100 sported yellow stripes in honor of the New York, Chicago, and St. Louis Railroad, and Engine 1068 took on a cool dark green color scheme with an Erie insignia to honor the Erie Railroad. Special thanks to Messiah's own Danny Smutek for the photos.
Don't pull away. We'll keep chugging along after the break.
My name is Curtis Seaman. I'm a senior journalism major. So my entire life, I've really enjoyed writing, really enjoyed sports. I thought that if I combined the two, sports journalism would be the perfect major for me. I feel very prepared for post-graduation. With practicum, that's been a huge help. You have to participate in 3 different mediums of communication, media, throughout the class period. And to be able to do things like radio and television and writing has just kind of really helped to broaden my horizons. And in terms of writing, I'm also excited to use all of those skills that I've learned as well. Obviously, the professors here in the communication department are fantastic, and they really know how to get you to drill down and get you to write the best that you possibly can. In senior sem, Dr. Dixon prays before every class, and a lot of other professors do that. To be able to pray in class, to be able to talk about faith-based things, it's just huge, and I really have appreciated that all 4 of my years here at Messiah. So right now I'm interning at WGAL 8 in Lancaster, which is just a TV station, NBC affiliate. The hours are a little rough. They're from 4 in the morning until noon, but that's also been a look ahead of what it's going to be like in my career in the future, so that's been also a good experience. For MC77, my sophomore year was the first year I did. I started on camera, moved to floor manager. I've done everything from camera to producing, executive producing, anchoring, VTR, audio. You can do pretty much any role. They're more than willing to give you the chance to make mistakes, but also to learn, because the time is now to make mistakes before you go out and are working for a real television station. MC77 has definitely given me a ton of great experience and prepared me for what's to come with that, and I'm excited to use that more within bigger TV stations and more live television day in and day out.
You're watching YBTV live on YouTube. Check out our channel after the show for more great content from Messiah University.
It should be fun. I love s'mores.
Me too, especially on a campfire.
The best.
Golden brown.
You're watching YBTV.
Welcome back to Falcon Update live on YBTV. Now that the steeple is lit up again, let's hear about the history of the iconic Hofstadter Chapel here on campus. Here's reporter Paul Callender with more.
Now, you've probably already asked yourself this before at some point, but why is Grantham Church so close to Messiah's campus? Well, it's a little known fact that it actually started at none other than Hofstadter Chapel. Today, the chapel stands proudly among the Messiah academic buildings, but its history goes all the way back to before its neighbors were even built. The chapel was initially built in 1960, and initially it was home to a Brethren in Christ congregation. Both Messiah College students and local churchgoers attended services here on a regular basis.
For a lot of its history, and certainly for the period of time when I was a student, there were actual pews in Hofstadter Chapel. Lots of the members of that church were on the faculty, lots of students attended that congregation, and so the chapel was originally built to house that church.
But in the mid-90s, Grantham Church found a new location. With that change of location came a new name for the chapel on Messiah College's campus.
Its very name, right, Hofstadter Chapel, honors 3 generations of Messiah leaders. Messiah's second president was C.N. Hofstadter Sr. The 4th president at Messiah was C.N. Hofstadter Sr.'s son, C.N. Hofstadter Jr. His son, D. Ray Hofstadter, was president at Messiah for 30 years, from 1964 to 1994. And so, these 3 men led Messiah during really pivotal moments in the college's history.
Since then, Hofstadter has been a host to many different activities on campus, including the campus ministries office, the communication department's equipment room, and the Hofstadter production studio. For many of us, Hofstadter Chapel is just another building we see here on campus every day, but there's a lot of historical significance, which makes this building all the more interesting. For YBTV, I'm Paul Callan.
Thanks, Paul. Speaking of Hofstadter Chapel, students gathered in Hofstadter on Wednesday as Messiah professor Dr. Emerson Powery shared his reflections on our society in his lecture, Is There a Future for Reconciliation in America? A theological and personal meditation on reconciliation. Dr. Powery offered a biblical perspective on the issue alongside personal anecdotes that shaped his own opinion, plus a response from Dr. Brian Smith. An audience Q&A session followed.
Well, here's my question. What's happening this week at Messiah? Let's go to Nolan Putnam for this week's campus calendar.
Welcome back to this week's campus calendar. I'm Nolan Putnam. We have numerous exciting events coming up this week for y'all to attend. Don't forget that there are many Falcon fitness classes for you to try out, along with many campus ministry opportunities for you to attend all week long. Explore the life of David with the Logos Bible study on Monday and Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m. The CPDC is holding another Pizza with Professionals on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Join Messiah alumni Blake Lynch as he describes his career path and current job with WITF Public Media. Join Catherine Williams in Parma Hall at 7 p.m. as she opens a cultural treasure chest at the Black Hymnody. Snuggle up with SAB as they host their first Tuesday night trivia online this Tuesday at 9 p.m. The theme is winter. Be sure to check the SAB Instagram for mass email for the link to join. Messiah University Democrats will be hosting Dr. Scott of the Politics Department to discuss his experiences running for Congress, serving in the military, and being ordained as a reverend, to learn how each of these experiences formed his political views and activism. And to end your week, the Messiah Games Association will once again be hosting their weekly game nights starting at 7 p.m. in the Union Conference Room. Think you know a lot of random trivia, song lyrics, or sports stats? Murray Library will be holding trivia for teams of 6 or less starting at 7 p.m. February is Black History Month at Messiah. To kick off, Messiah Lost Films will be showing The Summer of Soul, a feature documentary about the legendary 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival, which celebrated African American music and culture and promoted Black pride and unity. Showings will begin Friday at 8 p.m. and continue Saturday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. That wraps up this week's campus calendar. I'm Nolan Putnam.
Thanks, Nolan. With Groundhog Day coming up on Wednesday, everybody's wondering whether or not we'll see an early spring or a late winter. Regardless, most of the temperatures this week are promising for those who are sick of the cold. It's Kelly Gainey with your Falcon forecast.
It's time to check out this week's Falcon forecast. I'm Kelly Gainey. After a frigid weekend, it looks like we may catch a break with some warmer weather this week. Tonight, we're currently sitting at 26 degrees on campus, and we can expect it to drop down to 21 later tonight, into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be much warmer than we've been used to lately, with a high of 40 and a low of 19, accompanied by partly cloudy skies. Wednesday will be a bit cloudy, but the temperatures will continue to rise with a high of 46 and an expected low of 28 degrees. On Thursday, we can expect much of the snow to disappear as skies are projected to open up. There will be an 80% chance of rain, but the temperatures keep climbing, reaching a high of 48 and a low of 36. Friday, the rain will continue along with the chance of a wintry mix. The temperatures drop slightly, but not by much, with a high of 47 and a low of 21. Moving into the weekend, the sun will be back out on Saturday, but the temperatures will drop right back to where we've gotten used to. The high for Saturday will be 28 with a low of 15, and the Sunday will be 37 with a low of 15. It's been a cold past month, but luckily we're starting February off with some warmer weather. That's all for this week's Falcon Forecast. I'm Kelly Gainey, sending it back to the desk.
Thanks for the update, Kelly. However, I don't think Josh McLeaf needs any warm weather after working up a sweat for this week's Bird's Eye View. Let's take a look.
I'm Josh McLeaf, and on this week's Bird's Eye View, I'm here outside of the public dance studio getting ready to participate in a level 2 ballet class with absolutely no prior dance experience. So let's stop wasting time and check it out. I'm here with Danielle, the instructor of the level 2 ballet class.
Yeah, so you want to be able to keep your legs straight and turn them out. It's just plie, stretch, rise up, lower down. Plie, stretch, rise up, lower down. Then you'll reverse it through. Ballet started in like the 1700s in France, and it's moved on since then. And so Messiah has brought all the different techniques in for the ballet program. This is actually only my second semester. But I know they were doing Balanchine previously. I don't know if you were involved in that. And so I'm doing more Cicchetti with Vaganova mixed in.
Well, I'm a little sweaty, but that sure was a lot of fun. If you're interested in joining the dance programs and you're not like me and have 2 left feet, check out the opportunities available on campus. For YBTV.
Thanks, Josh. What do you do on the weekends? It's Rosie Schiano with this week's Falcon on the Street.
I'm this week's Falcon on the Street reporter, Rosie Schiano, and today we're asking people what their favorite weekend activity is.
Okay, my favorite thing to do on the weekends is probably FaceTime my family.
My favorite thing to do is just hang out with friends on the weekends, go out for dinner, watch some movies.
My favorite thing to do on the weekend is go for long runs around campus, catch up on homework, and call my family.
Yes, my favorite thing to do. I work every single Saturday off campus, and just hanging out with the friends, getting as much sleep as I can, and doing some homework.
My favorite thing to do on the weekends is probably do game nights at one of my friend's apartments.
That's it for Falcon on the Street. For YBTV, I'm Rosie Schiano.
I like volleyball. I like sleeping in.
Thanks, Rosie. Coming up, we'll see what's happening in Messiah Athletics.
Keep it right here on YBTV.
What?
Forests bring people together.
A student would want to study the finance major here at Messiah for several reasons. Students here are working and practicing in a setting in our finance lab with technology that they're going to use when they leave here and work in the field. And so our students are certified in Bloomberg. In addition, in several classes, our students are actually performing consulting projects with local financial and investing firms.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about coming for the finance major here was just the scope that you get in all the different classes. So anything from corporate finance to portfolio management and security analysis, you touch on everything. Getting into investment club was something I really was looking forward to coming here to Messiah. I knew from very early on I wanted to get involved.
There's nothing wrong with going out, being successful, making money, but not allowing money to have a higher place in your life than God. So our goal is to get our students started off on their career path quicker and better positioned than any of their peers.
You're watching Falcon Update live on Messiah University's Yellow Breeches Television.
Welcome back to Falcon Update live on YBTV. Men's volleyball hosted their first matchup in an at-home on Tuesday as they faced Penn State Altoona. After a close first set, the Falcons took control to sweep Penn State with a 3-0 victory. Falcons game scheduled for Saturday was postponed, so the Falcons will next face Janita College with a week's worth of rest.
Stop us if you've heard this before, but Messiah's Esther Sealand has broken yet another record for women's indoor track. Just a week after breaking Messiah's 3,000-meter record, Sealand broke the MAC record in the mile competition, posting a time of 4 minutes, 52 seconds, and 25 milliseconds. Sealand's time in the mile defeated the previous two records by 2 seconds. And if that wasn't enough for you, Sealand broke yet another Messiah record in the 300-meter event at a pace of 42 seconds and 77 milliseconds. For Messiah's men's indoor track, Noah Callisti continues to be a leader for the Falcons. Last week, Callisti placed first in the 3,000-meter event, and this week he placed first in the 5,000-meter event, making for back-to-back first-place finishes in the last 2 meets. Next, the Falcons indoor track teams travel to New York City for the NYC Armory D3 Invitational.
Messiah's swim teams wrapped up the regular season this weekend at home and finished strong with a big win. Messiah's men's team earned a big 160-82 win over Albright and a 129-127 nail-biter over Misericordia. The women's team won both of their matchups on the day as well, including a 164-89 win over Albright and a 139-122 win over Misericordia. The women finished the season with a 10-2 record, and the men finish at 6-5. Messiah Swim sits at first place in the MAC Commonwealth as the MAC Championships take place in 2 weeks.
Men's basketball began the week with a tough loss to Albright on Wednesday, but the Falcons turned it around for a thrilling win over York on Saturday. Messiah and York were tied 56-56 with under 20 seconds remaining in the game. The Falcons' Bryce Coletti passed the ball to Tyler Penley, who knocked down the game-winning three-pointer with 11 seconds left. The win over York puts the Falcons' record at 6-10 on the season as they play host to Lebanon Valley next on Wednesday.
Messiah women's basketball picked up 2 more wins this week to raise their current win streak to 10 games. On Wednesday, the Falcons defeated Albright by a final of 61-49 and faced off in a revenge game with York on Saturday. Back on December 8th, York defeated Messiah, ending their home winning streak. The Falcons have won 9 straight games since that game, and with the 74-49 win this past Saturday, the Falcons made it to 10 straight games. The Falcons are 16-2 on the season and host Lebanon Valley on Wednesday.
Messiah Wrestling was all over the country this week, competing in Illinois as well as Alvernia. In Illinois, at the Wheaton Invitational, Josiah Gear placed the highest among the Falcons with a 3rd-place award in his class. At Alvernia, the rest of the team went 0-3 against Alvernia, Southern Virginia, and Trinity. The Falcons next battle York College on Friday.
That's all for this week's Falcon Update. Tune in next Monday at 7 p.m. for more Messiah news.
But for now, get ready for YB Tonight coming up right after this break. Stay tuned.
Forests bring people together, feed the soul, and improve our well-being. Cleaning the water we need, the air we breathe, and making our climate livable. Fires and natural disasters devastate our forests each year. That's why the Arbor Day Foundation is working to replant millions of trees across the country. Visit arborday.org and see how you can help.
Every undergraduate engineering major at Messiah has a minimum 4-semester built-in internship in the program. So they're able to transition from the classroom learning environment to a project-based learning environment where they're being peer mentored, and they're also being mentored by professionals that serve as player coaches on their team.
The Collaboratory's business model is that it pairs student teams with either faculty mentors or outside professionals to work on systems that either care for the earth or help disadvantaged people around the world.
On the African continent, over 30% of hand pumps at any one time are non-functional. This seems like the kind of problem that Jesus would care about, and I'm excited to be part of the Better Pumps team, working with Emma Workman, the student project manager.
Better Pumps is a project working to sustain a reliable water infrastructure for the users of hand pumps, specifically in Africa. We are testing the new bearings and the new seals specifically in the hand pumps to see if they will outlast the old design. I knew that I wanted to come to a Christian college to continue to grow in my faith. I love just having the opportunity to have relationships with my professors and stop in their office in the afternoon and just catch up about life.
We don't want our students to feel like they have to wait until they've graduated to start serving and meeting the needs of society. So we want students to have an opportunity to work on projects that meet real needs even while they're students in the program. Messiah students are exciting to work with because they understand that God has uniquely gifted them to do something, and they're excited to follow Him in that and to follow Him in their careers.
One of my best moments as a student here at Messiah was when I was traveling to Mexico with the Collaboratory.
The Collaboratory's business model is that it pairs student teams with either faculty mentors or outside professionals to work on systems that either care for the earth or help disadvantaged people around the world.
I learned so many amazing things about just cultural differences and how to adapt and work alongside, not just how to help someone else, but how to empower them to further their lives and also advance my academics in the process. So that is by far one of my favorite memories from Messiah.
The nursing program at Messiah College prepared me in multiple ways. It really just helped me grow in my faith, first of all, but also in my vocation. I have found that adjusting to the work environment has been easier, and I feel that it was very much to do with Messiah College's nursing program.
The simulation labs here at Messiah, the ones that we used as students, are very comparable to the local hospitals.
My first job offer was here during a shadowing experience through the college. I interviewed and I pretty much got the job offer right there.
What I really like about Messiah students is that they look at nursing as a profession and a career, and they tend to do very, very well.
The fact that we are CCNE accredited says that we are engaged in effective educational practices. This means that the student who comes to Messiah College can be assured of receiving the highest quality nursing education, and that their degree will be recognized by top healthcare organizations and graduate programs.
A lot of the relationships that I have with my classmates are very, very special. Nursing can be challenging, and so it's very nice to have friends that know what you're going through. One thing at Messiah College, which is really great, is how the Christian faith is brought into almost every part of your college career. In a lot of the classes, you have sometimes a devotional, or it's integrated into the course curriculum somehow.
The faculty at Messiah cared for me as a learner and as a person. They poured time and energy into me and supported me in my troubles and shared in my successes.
Come visit, set up a time where you can meet up with a professor, sit in on a class. It's a great way to see what Messiah College is all about, and just an overall amazing experience.
Oh, hi. I suppose you're wondering what an A-list celebrity like me is doing in a place like this. You must know, I'm saving the world. Oh, hi, Beth. Yep, saving the world again. Did you know that 40% of all the food produced in the United States is thrown away? That means everything that went into that food, the pesticides, the water, the land, was all for nothing. Just look at this perfectly good food thrown in the trash. The pizza with extra Cheerios, these goldfish and Band-Aid tacos. And just look at this perfect trash burger. This pasta dog looks delicious.
You don't have to dumpster dive like Ed Begley Jr. to save the planet. Fight food waste by shopping smart and using what you buy before it gets trashed.
That's way better. Ooh, arugula.
Do your part. And find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
Good evening, Messiah. Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Rosie Sciano.
And I'm Brenda McNeil. Tonight, we'll have a musical performance by junior athletic training major Connor Daudt,
followed by an interview with Ethan Kiggins and Todd File, the voices behind the Pulse podcast, Toddtown.
Stay tuned. This is a show you don't want to miss.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Rosie Sciano, and I'm here with Connor Daudt, and he's going to play some music for us on the keyboard.
If nothing's a feeling, then where does it end? If insanity means healing, should I give it? There's comfort in chaos and fear in the calm. But the moment I let go's the moment I've lost. There's power in the rage and escape in the tears. I hear the monster scream as the boy covers his ears. One voice will lead as the other hides. The boy only speaks from the corners of my mind. It's head versus heart, but my heart's just not in. My head fights itself more than anything. Trapped in a cell, I locked myself in. I wanna get out, but love how dark it is. There's power in the rage and escape in the tears. I hear the monster scream as the boy covers his ears. One voice will lead as the other hides. The boy only speaks from the corners of my mind. So bring on the panic, 'cause it makes me feel alive. I know that it kills me, but at least I'm still alive. Bring peace to me, or just take it all away. If depression doesn't block it out, it's all anxiety. Is there power in the blood and escape in your name? I hear your voice above all the screaming. If I follow the sound, will you lead me home? I can't speak, so I need you to hear me. Can you hear me? Oh. Another song? Cool. Woke up from a dream for the 1000th time, stuck between realities, I've lost sense of mind, as this world filled with shadows fades into light. But deep in this valley, the cold feels right. If I sink back under, will the waves fill my lungs? Will I find who I am or drown who I was? So I'm waking up to who I'll become, even if it's not who I once was. No point chasing time and trying to rewind. I may never find the vision in my younger eyes. as the sky turns to gray and my eyes turn to black, killing my soul and holding it under, watching the waves crash and hearing me drown. Even as the struggle ends, I'll come out alive. So I'm waking up to who I'll become, even if it's not who I once was. No point chasing time and trying to rewind. I may never find the vision in my younger eyes. So I'm waking up, letting go, moving on. And I'm starting to see a new side of me that seems so lovely. So won't you wake me up to who I'll become, even if it's not who I once was. No point chasing time and trying to rewind. I may never find the vision in my younger eyes. So I'm waking up, letting go, moving on.
Thank you, Connor. That was beautiful. Right after this, we'll be back with an interview with Connor. Stay tuned.
My name is Natalie Moy. I'm a senior and I'm a digital media major.
I feel like the classes here have helped me to train my eye to detect good design. I like how the professors don't force you into one way of thinking. Instead, they allow you to be creative and think of projects in your own way, and they will guide you and help you envision your project to make it even better and stronger. I have this one professor who starts off his classes with prayers, and I feel like that's really great because it starts us off reminding us that we are creating something for God, so we have that in our minds to create something that He will be pleased with. In my portfolio, I have quite a large variety of works. I have design-based works, I have photography, I have videography, and One of the big projects I'll be expecting in my portfolio would be from the junior-senior film class that I'm taking this semester. I'll be the production designer for this short film, and I'm looking forward to work with my crew because they're all awesome people. Messiah has this media hub called The Pulse, so I've been working for them for the past few months, and you can do stuff like designing, photography, videography, the radio station, and you can even design websites, write articles. I think it's a really great opportunity for me to get my work out there. I'm a designer, so people on campus or even off campus get to see what I do, and I think that's really great. So if you're a digital media student, you could go into computer science fields, or you could go into the film industries or graphic design. I guess it's the beauty of digital media, it's just so versatile.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Rosie Schiano, and we're sitting down with Connor Daudt. How are you doing tonight, Connor?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. So I'm going to ask you some questions. When did you start writing your own songs?
I started writing when I was about 11. I had started writing songs before that, but they were all just in my head. So when I was 11, I finally jotted down a garbage song that wasn't any good and kept working at it for the next 10 years.
Wow, it seems like you've improved from there. But next question, how did you discover that you had a talent for songwriting?
Well, at first I don't think I did, but my family lied to me and told me that I did. So that kept me going for the first 3 years or so. I just always liked my music. I wrote it as an outlet for my own things that I was going through, and I would sing the songs and I would get chills after writing some of the songs. And I was like, oh, I like this. It just kind of kept going, and somewhere along the line, other people liked it too. So
Good, good. Can you tell us a little bit about your songwriting process and what all goes into that?
Typically, a lot of people when they write songs, they sit down and they write and then they revise, and it goes over a long process. I don't write very well like that. Like I said, my songs are my emotions just going out. So usually when I have a big emotional setting that I'm in where something is either going really well or going really poorly, I just sit and I write down the feelings that I'm having, and I put that in a song form, and it helps me to work through them and process them. And that's how my best songs come out, is just like an hour of just whatever is on my mind.
Wow. So when writing that stuff down, what do you draw from it? What do you draw from, and how do you express that in your music?
So I have a lot of emotions in my head, and in 3 minutes you can only put so many. So a lot of times I just like to get the idea of what I'm feeling right then, and whether it's through imagery or just through the way that I'm feeling, just putting that into words. I usually just write those down and then make sure that it rhymes, because a song has to rhyme to be catchy.
There you go. Perfect. And what advice would you give someone that's just starting out that wants to do songwriting as well?
I would, number one, I'd say don't get discouraged. I mean, I had songs when I was beginning that they were bad. They were real bad. But you just keep working at it, and you write music that you like, and it'll get somewhere. I mean, I haven't really gotten anywhere, but I just keep writing music that I like, and that's all you need to do. Just trust the process.
Trust the process.
If you enjoy your own work, that's all that really matters at the end.
Perfect. Sounds amazing. Well, once again, a huge thank you to Connor Daudt for the amazing performance and for answering some questions as well. Next up, we'll sit down with Todd File and Ethan Kiggins to talk a little bit more about the podcast. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Macy Thornton. I'm a senior and I'm a public relations major. I was initially drawn to the public relations major because I've always been great with people, and the skills are very transferable. One thing that's definitely unique to Messiah is that they teach from a Christian perspective, and I've been able to use that in internships and those types of opportunities. The professors are great, they're very approachable, and they genuinely want to see you succeed. I'm involved in athletics in that I'm on the Messiah women's basketball team, and it's been one of the most enriching experiences of my life. I'm in a class called Senior PR Campaign, and we're working for an actual nonprofit organization off campus, so we're helping them with some PR related things, and it's just really great to actually put theory into practice and to feel like you're making a difference even though you're still in school. And I also had the opportunity to do an internship with a minor league baseball team. PR practitioners have to conduct themselves ethically. They have to have integrity. They have to be honest and transparent with the people they work with. So ethics is a big part of public relations. I believe Christian PR practitioners are called to hold themselves to a higher standard because of their beliefs, and that should show in their professional life. I feel very prepared with regard to the experiences I've had, the internship opportunities I've had, and the knowledge I have that the PR major has given me and the skills I've attained through it.
C77 is now officially rebranded as Yellow Reaches TV.
You're watching YBTV.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Brendan McNeil. Here we've got Ethan Kiggins and Todd File. Thank you both for being here. How are you doing tonight?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Great. So I want to hop right in. Can you tell us a little bit what the podcast is about and how it came to be?
Sure. So Ethan and I are both on a podcast called Todd Town. We run it through Messiah's Pulse radio station, and it's a sports hypothetical podcast. And really what that means is we look at what-if scenarios in the sports world and just kind of ponder what would have happened, what could have happened.
That's great. And what made you decide to do this podcast? You expressed interest in sports as well.
Sure, yes. I originally started a podcast in high school with a couple friends, and once I got to Messiah, I decided that I wanted to continue podcasting. And so I told Ethan about this idea, and we decided to go in on it together.
Yeah, and I've never done something like it before, so just being able to do it, Todd invited me to do it, it's a great thing. Great, and a question for both of you, what do you hope people who listen into your podcast gain from listening in? I think the thing that we really want people to get out of it is really just like enjoying just listening to us talk about sports and enjoying sports altogether. It's just like something for people to do when they're walking, doing schoolwork, anything like that. Great. And what kind of planning process do you guys go through for each show? I'm sure there's a whole process you got to go through.
Sure. It kind of depends on what kind of episode we're doing. If it's more stats oriented, then there's going to be a lot more preparation, maybe working in Excel, that kind of thing. But for the most part, it's Ethan and I going and doing our own independent research, usually the night before, just to give us something to talk about the next day.
Yeah, and when you actually get to the studio, if you don't mind, can you break down the recording process, when you actually go live, what you guys do to get ready for the show?
That's sure. All him. Yeah, that's usually what I handle, and it's not too complicated of a process. We sit down, adjust our mic volumes, and then start recording with Adobe Audition. And then once the recording is done, we trim it and then send it to Marie Miller, who is our studio manager, and then she monitors everything and posts it for us.
That's great. And you already said what you hope people gain from the podcast. What is something that you both have gained from this experience already?
I think one thing that I've really gained through this is just a deeper connection with my roommate Todd. It's just something that we get to do every Saturday morning. Just we connect a little bit, get to connect with other people by doing the podcast. So it's just it's a nice way to connect with people around campus.
Absolutely. And it's always fun, I think, to get in front of a microphone and just have that opportunity to share our thoughts with a broad audience.
That's great. And you guys have been doing this for a while. I know that a lot of people want to start a podcast, but don't really know how exactly. So what advice would you give to people who want to start a podcast, and what process they would take in order to do that, and how to just get your foot in the door?
Well, I would say pick a subject that you're passionate about. Something, you know, like for Ethan and myself, it's sports. Something that we love, that we can talk about easily, and you just go in and talk about what you love. And I don't know, Ethan, you could probably speak a little bit more to that. But
yeah, sports is just something that I enjoy talking about and doing, so it was pretty easy just to decide to do that. But yeah, just go with what you really want to do and just step out and do it. Like there's no harm in doing it. You got to try. So.
And for those who don't know, who are watching at home, when did you guys first start this podcast? Do you remember? It doesn't have to be an exact date. But
sure. We started it early last semester, probably, what, in September or so?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so you've been at it for about a semester and a half now.
Yeah, and loving
Must be enjoying it?
Oh, loving every minute of it, yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, just tell us really quick how we can listen to Todd Town and where we can find you guys on social media as well.
Yes, and that's more my part of it. So you can listen to us on Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and feel free to give us a follow on Instagram at ToddTown_podcast.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to YB Tonight. A huge thank you to Connor for his incredible performance, and thank you to Todd and Ethan for coming on and sharing information about their podcast. I'm Brendan McNeil. On behalf of myself, Rosie Shinano, and all of us at YB TV, have a wonderful night, Messiah, and we'll see you next week.